What's up, folks? It's your boy True Fire Boy, aka Paper Bag, back at you with another video. Y'all been following To Kill and I. We've been doing podcasts, trying to build them up weekly around sports wagering, but this is a little bit different. This is an interview with somebody prominent in North Carolina, Mr. Kevin Dougherty. So we're giving out real estate game, life game in this video, dropping some gems, and just a nice discussion for me. I hope it is for you guys as well. VLC, the Wize Wager, and what is this going to be called? Stay tuned and find out. Enjoy, and we'll see y'all later.
That's going to be 348 apartment units.
348.
I can show you the plan at the office. One of the things we're doing, this street we're on is called Providence Boulevard. And we named it, it's important to name. In my mind, it was important in the development process to have streets that have meaningful names, so that when people ride on them and they go, oh, this is Providence Boulevard, what does that mean? So if you Google the word, or as I do at times, just to check the definition, which I hope some kid says, hey, what does Providence mean? We want to do things that point people towards the Lord. So, meaning for when you define providence biblically, it says the idea that God is aware of what's happening in a person's life and cares about it. Some theologians describe providence as a continual creation, as opposed to the idea that God created the world and then stepped back from it. So we're developing 435 acres here, and the idea is we have to be malleable. We have to be willing to change, adjust, in the creative process to be able to meet needs. That's really what we're trying to do, is we're creating a mixed use community here that hopefully will meet the needs of this community and add value to the community. Job creation, a quality place to live, places to shop, eat, socialize, connect. Part of the big thing about our mixed-use communities, we really want to create a personal connection and a positive connection to the community. So that's one of our goals. So that was why we named this street. We got another street we've named Wisdom Way, and because everybody needs a little wisdom in their life, and with the intent and the idea that when people see that word, they think, typically we get chances every day to make decisions. Some are good, some are bad, but wisdom is what drives the good decisions, and we want to encourage people to make those right choices. So
Yes, sir. With that, welcome to the Wize Tales, Mr. Kevin Dougherty.
So this is all called ethos. It's like a material that they put on that you can create or you can create these structural panels to be able to hold signage and that type of thing. So they build these storefronts up so that people driving by, 1,000 feet away can clearly see their names and know who's here. Now let's see if we can navigate this without ruining our shoes. There we go.
Yep.
Get over to the stone. Now what you're seeing on the inside there, that's all the HVAC work. You can see that's how they're going to air condition and heat and cool the space. And in the back they've got the separate from the sales floor area. You see that all those the furring strips going up to the ceiling. That'll get drywall and separate the back stock room receiving area from your main sales floor area. That's Ross department stores right there. This is Five Below. They're not as far along as Ross. They're you can see they're putting their back framing in as well. So insulated panels. They call you see those furring strips that go all the way up to the ceiling. They'll separate their stock room receiving area behind that framing, and then this will all be open store front sales area. And this is kind of what it looks like underneath. It'll get a lot more work than what we see today. This is Five Below. Let's see how to do this safely. Actually, we can go right over here. Keep our shoes reasonably clean.
Crocs, not Wize.
This is Marshall's. Marshall's is another, department store owned by TJX. And again, same kind of thing. They're building out their departments and finishing off the inside of the building in such a way so they'll be completing all these upfits. Most of these stores will open around the same time in September. So let's see. Let's go down this way. This might be a little easier to get out of here without getting too bad. Yep, doing all right. Now this is Burlington, another clothing store. And you can see out here in the parking lot, what we do, you kind of, you've got the dirt, and then you come with about 6 inches of stone, and then there'll be another 3 to 3.5 inches of binder asphalt, which is a thicker, chunkier asphalt. And then they'll finish with a top coat, but this whole thing will go up. And the sooner we get the asphalt down, the better it is during rain events. You don't end up dealing with mud and the mess. So this is the entrance to Burlington, and you can see the rain has not helped Burlington very much.
How much of a setback
they're
is
not
this?
what's called dried in yet.
Yeah, how much of a setback is this?
It'll be amazing how quick it'll dry. This will get cleaned out, and but it is, it's not unusual. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
it's battling the weather is always a problem. So planning ahead and having your site ready for big rain events is something that is constant.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking we probably don't want to go. Let's go back out of here on the road. That might be a little easier for us. Now what they're doing right now with this line here, this is going to be a line of curbing. So they're going to come in and put a concrete curb here so that we have something to pave against, to pave up to. That curbing, that's what this line, it's the survey team has come in and plugged that in. And you can see now we're walking on stone and it feels very firm and
yes, sir.
it's easier to deal with. See, that floor is just as wet as Burlington. But the reason is it's open, and when the rain blows in, it's just going to sit up on the concrete. This is Hobby Lobby down here. Well, actually, this is Old Navy right here, and Ulta right there. They're not as far along as Hobby Lobby. We'll go into Hobby Lobby and you'll go, wow, I can see this coming together.
Wow.
Now you're starting to see a different level. They've got the air conditioning on, you can feel it. Morning. Rich isn't around, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, he is? Okay. Hey, Rich. Good morning. It's Kevin. You doing all right? You made a little progress. They're getting ready to, that's all insulation. It's going to be up at the ceiling. And so it's going to start to look like a store here pretty soon.
Johnson County, just think, Mr. Kevin.
You what?
Johnson County, bow down.
Yeah. Yeah, he's making good progress.
Yeah. It seems like you got a really good team out here.
Yeah, we're doing all right. We've got, you always wish you, dealing with the weather, dealing with governmental agencies that, everybody has different things that are important to them, but, trying to help individual tenants like this get their stores completed the way they want them completed and get them open and helping them get connected with potential employees, that kind of thing is important. So.
Welcome back, folks, to the Wize Tales. Still here with Mr. Kevin Dougherty. I love the tour. It was amazing. Doing a lot.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yes, sir. So, just to talk on kind of life, but going back, people who haven't seen a previous episode, you brought up Man in the Mirror before, read the book. I know you enjoyed the book.
Yep.
And everything. In the book, it talks about time management. How you view time? Do you view time as a concept? Like, understandably, it's reality, but at the same time, how you view time?
Well, I keep that calendar up all the time so I can keep track of it. But, the one great equalizer we have is time. Everybody gets 168 hours each week. So how we spend that is really what differentiates ourselves one from another. So, you know, if all the smart people in the health world will tell you you need 7 to 9 hours sleep a day. So there goes, let's call it 8 times 7's 56. There's 56. So now we're down to 112. How am I going to spend the other 112 hours? And so when people say I work a 40 to 60 hour work week, you do, and that's a lot, but it's not that much. We have a lot of free time. So what I try to do is I try to fill um, my schedule out with a little bit of balance. Uh, Today I ran 3.5 miles. Uh, so I don't do an hour a day of exercise, but I try and get 20 minutes to an hour, um, at least 3 or 4 times a week. Uh, I spend a good bit of time on Wednesdays and Sundays and some evenings and meetings relative to my church. Serving there, that's an important piece. But I keep that management. I think the word's balance that I try and things get difficult when you get out of balance. So sometimes you have to spend more time. If you're dealing with a crisis or a particular task that it's, hey, you got to get work done when the sun's shining, that you can't get done when it's raining. So on a rainy day, though, you can catch up on that reading a book or listening to music, those kinds of things that, you got to have a certain amount of time for things you enjoy doing. And, so yeah, I try and just balance it out and uh, keeping it on the same calendar on my phone and on uh, my computer helps keep me organized a little bit better.
Yes, sir. I believe people talk about it like you just mentioned. Sometimes in a crisis, you need to focus on one area more than the other. And
Yeah.
you achieve a certain level of greatness. I know you're a very humble man, so I'll say a certain level of greatness in your life. Do you think that was a period of time, like when you said you were locked in, focused on what you were trying to accomplish, and your life was more out of balance then, or have you been consistent?
Well, I would disagree in the sense that I don't think I'm great. I see all the flaws, and there's plenty of them. And if those closest to me would
Yeah,
probably reiterate, yeah, he's a nice guy, but definitely not perfect. And
sure.
uh, trying to get better all the time and uh, trying to make sure that we treat our fellow man the way we're supposed to, that we create opportunities for people to be successful, um, that we, within our family, that we spend time to love one another and care about our family, our friends, people that we can help. If we can help, I want to be about that. But um, I, you know, greatness is not something I aspire to.
Yeah,
I, there used to be a commercial, um, uh, Goodrich tires used to have a commercial, and they used to say, unlike Goodyear tires, who has a big blimp. Goodrich's slogan was, "We're the guys without the blimp,"
yeah,
and that's kind of how we'd rather be a little bit in the background. The people that know what we do understand and value it, but I'm not looking for the masses to go, you know, Hey,
That's it.
yeah, yeah,
Kevin
no,
Dougherty.
yeah, that doesn't do anything for me.
Yes,
Um,
sir. But
I prefer anonymity. You
yeah.
know, being anonymous is flying under the radar screen. I think you can have a bigger impact in some ways. Um, and I think I think about um, our presidents, our um, our leadership, our country right now needs uh, leadership in a huge way, and uh, I wish we had more people willing to step up and lead. I think leadership too on a national scale is one thing, but you really need it locally. Selma and our Johnston County community's been pretty well blessed with good leadership and people that are willing to work and make the effort. So, um,
So yeah. Speak on that. You mentioned greatness isn't what you aspire towards. What exactly do you aspire towards?
well, I mean, I want to make a difference. People, having doing things that are meaningful. For instance, the project you and I toured this morning, Eastfield. I mean, what drives it in my mind is we have the opportunity to shape a community, offering people a place to live, a place to work, uh, a place to enjoy their family and go out and have a meal and socialize and connect, creating an environment that everybody feels welcome is really that drives me. And at the end of the day, I get excited that people can change their own path in life by the job they create they take, and the job can give them uh, self-fulfillment. It'll give them confidence. It gives them financially an opportunity to put a roof over their head, to feed their family, to uh, to really change the direction of their lives. Right now we've got in our country, we've got a lot of young people that have grown up in dysfunctional families where uh, you know addiction and drugs and problems exist that they didn't necessarily create, they were brought into. And I just want we want in our developments to create hope and imagination and possibilities, to expose people to, hey, this is what can happen uh, if you follow and make right decisions. Our project out there right now, Johnston County Economic Development estimated that at full build out, we will create somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,500 to 5,500 jobs
Wow.
through the project. Somebody had to start something, so we started it. Now, I use the analogy: we put the border on the puzzle, but everybody else needs to come plug their piece in. And when you do that, you end up hopefully with a beautiful picture that God helped us and directed us to create, that you know is looked at as a community asset and a place that people love to be, love to go, uh, and love to live in.
Yes, sir.
That's our goal.
Yes, sir. That's beautiful. Um, Speak on this. Uh, Also mentioned in The Man in the Mirror by Patrick M. Morley. For
Yep.
people who haven't read the book, uh, look that up. Four pillars of financial strength: earning little by little, saving little by little as well, sharing where to store your money, avoiding debt, avoiding debt, stop pretending. Can you speak on those four, how they've been in your life, and which one do you think you could potentially eliminate, if you could eliminate? one of them.
If you could eliminate,
Do you think it's necessary to have all four of them
uh,
established?
yeah, I mean, um, there's only three things you can do with money.
Yeah,
You can spend it, you can save it, and you can give it. Dave Ramsey, I've been listening to Dave Ramsey for 30 years, I think now. Uh, and that sunk in, so you've got to do each of those three things right. You've got to enjoy your money, you've got to save some money, and you've got to give some money. Uh, and biblically, the Bible tells us, not tells us, it mentions the benefits of tithing. It's not a dictation, it's not a commandment, but it is a recommendation. And my wife and I, fortunately, she impressed upon me the need to do that. I was not necessarily driven to do that, and but I will tell you, it's made a substantial difference in our life, making sure that we support various organizations and support people in a mission capacity. That's something, and support our local church. All of that, uh, tithing and beyond. And in terms of saving and investing wisely, I told our kids. I just had this conversation not too long ago. You know, I would invest in things and stick to things that and understand and could explain to someone else, whether that's a particular company or a mutual fund that's invested in a variety of companies. Dave Ramsey suggests mutual funds. I'm personally like some stocks, but it needs to be a portion of your savings that you gear towards that, not everything. And keeping a balance in your accounts is important. Dave talks about debt, um, debt, eradicating debt, and essentially becoming your own lender or your own investor. Debt is, on the personal level, is really a problem in our country. I mean, not everybody, many people are, and it's not me. It's statistically. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just listening to what the statistics come back. The amount of consumer debt that we have, we as a country live way beyond our means. So, the advice I'd have for somebody is, if you make $100,000 a year, learn to live on 80, and that what you can do with that 20 difference, you can give some, you save some, and you spend some. Uh, that way, you get a true balance of what uh, uh, a balanced life can be. And I don't think I'd eliminate any of those, except I'd eliminate the debt. I wouldn't eliminate the idea of getting rid of debt. I'd say eliminate your debt, and because investing in yourself is probably the best investment that we as a family have made. So I hope
yes,
that
sir.
helps.
Yes, sir. Um, you don't strike me as a man that continuously looks back on the past. I would say you're very forward thinking, but you're at a point. I think you reflect probably a lot. Have, do you think about the past a lot, or do you think just in the moment, what's next?
Um, a little bit of both. I mean, the reflection, when I think back in the past, it's almost always positive events and people that invested in me with
Yeah,
not unselfish mentoring. To me, they didn't get anything in return, other than maybe a little satisfaction for helping someone. Um, and when I think back on that, I am grateful. I keep a thing up here, what I call the miracles of McCandless. This was a project we did several years ago, and it's still helping. It's still paying dividends today, but there were a lot of things that occurred there, people that helped make it happen. And when I think back in the past, it really, my head goes to gratitude. And you know, but I do have a more forward looking, because I wake up. I just was with at a retreat last few days, and I said, I'm 64, and I've never had a time where I've seen more opportunity in our country than now. Where I literally wake up in the middle of the night with an idea, and I grab my yellow sticky pad, and I got to write it down at 4:30 in the morning, because if I don't, I won't remember it at 6:30. You know, but I write it down and I carry it. That's why you see all these little note pages here, because they're little thoughts, things that I've got a lot of drawers in my head. It's not always easy to find out which drawer you got something stuck in, but I try to retrieve and capture all those ideas and visions, and a lot of them don't amount to anything, but um, sometimes it might be, this is a great idea, but I'm not the guy to do it. Maybe Trenton's the guy that needs to do it, and I just need to suggest to him, and then let him know that I think he could do it, and here's why. This is something that I've observed and discerned that's in his capability. You've got what it takes, Trenton, to do X. And you may not have the confidence, but all of those around you recognize that opportunity where you can, you know, be a cut above everybody else doing that particular thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had people in my past that suggested to me I could be successful in what I'm doing today. That encouragement was huge. It took all the worry away. A gentleman by the name of Bob Carey, Dick Krause, and John Kramer invested in me early in my career. Of course, mom and dad, my in-laws, they all too encouraged. But these three guys who I worked for all encouraged me. And not only did they say they appreciated how I worked for them, but then they said things like, I know you can take this even further. I know you can do this. And I just remember thinking, wow, they were icons to me in their industry, in our industry, and they believed in me. That took a lot of the worry away of, could I do it? Well, I can do it because Bob Carey told me I could. And he's a smart guy. He knows what he's talking about. He doesn't send people the wrong way. And that kind of support and encouragement made a big difference.
Yes, sir. They said great tool. It's 14 years with their firm in Pennsylvania, correct?
Well, I had our company up there, Michael Joseph Development. Yeah, it was almost 14, 15 years. And then we've had Adventure Development now for going on, I guess we're this August, or you know what? I think we just had our 19th or 20th year. I don't, that's the other thing I will tell you. Time, as I've gotten older, I have nowhere, the dates become murky. It really doesn't matter. But I can't believe that I've been doing this 20 years as adventure development, and that I've been involved in real estate development now, literally since I was in college. And it feels like it went like that, when I think about it. It's been great fun. Not all easy, but and definitely not easy. But it's really been a a way for me to be a little bit creative I'm uh, I'm not an artistic type necessarily, but this is a way I can be a little bit creative, and it's been fun.
Yeah, I recently had a conversation about that on the creative aspect. Me being more into like numbers and stats and understanding like the creativity that can be involved in that
Yeah,
and like embracing that aspect. I always thought like, is this really creative? And like I'm not a creative person in that in the artistic way either, or just drawing aspect at least,
yeah.
definitely.
I mean, the other day I had, and I have something in my email right now I got to respond to where a particular tenant wants to use a color scheme that is a little bit contrary to the rest of our development in different building materials with different colors. And it's not something that I'm an expert on. And I sometimes will defer to people like our architect who has a better eye than I might. But I sort of know it when I see it, that I sort of feel like I'm the common guy. And if I like it, pretty much other people are going to like it okay too,
Yeah,
you know? So I will weigh in on things where I'll go, gosh, that looks a little strange. It doesn't look like it fits. So I, I tend to uh, have a side of me that looks at um, uh, synchronicity. uh, is there balance? Um, do things feel in scale? You know, things like that. I'll a sign on a facade. You can tell when it's too big or too small, and colors that don't blend well. Um, I'll usually that's when I'll go time out. Uh, that just doesn't look right to me.
yeah,
What can we do to and and most of the time my sense is pretty good, but
yeah. So yeah, I think you just tapped in. You tapped into going back to the creative side, what you're known, what you're good at, what you built your skills up in time, and that gives you leeway. Like person who's a newbie still will struggle with that,
yeah.
possibly just like, does this really fit? Like understanding like you are helps you be a better problem solver in the field that you're in.
Yeah, I will tell you one of the other motivating things about our business is I like the fact that we don't ever really do we don't we're not repetitive in what we do. We are a bit of a problem solving group, and each project has its own personality. It had because you've got different people you're dealing with. uh, you've got different building materials, you've got different tenants, you've got different pieces of the puzzle, and so there's no cookie cutter, hey, we're doing this every time. uh, we can use some of what we learned in the last project to this project. Those skill sets do transfer, and um, and I've often thought that what you saw today, um, looking at 435 acres that includes industrial, business park, medical, retail, hospitality, multifamily, senior living, single family, all of those pieces put together into a cohesive plan. That's a complex project. And I like that complexity. Uh, so I've thought about what other where would these problem solving complexity skills translate. And I thought about, well, after this, what do you do next? Do you do another one somewhere else? And that's certainly a possibility. But I've always thought, I've always enjoyed the movies, and I've thought this would translate well to uh, you know, creating movies and the different pieces of the puzzle, the music, the sound, the visuals, the acting, uh, the landscape, all of those things. There's a lot of similarities to from what I've taken a class on master class with Ronnie Howard about the movie making process, and I thought this is this has some of the same characteristics as real estate development.
Yeah.
It's not a short process. It takes a while. It's each piece of the puzzle has its own nuances, but the finished product can make a great impression and can make a lasting impression. You know, I mean, think about It's a Wonderful Life, one of my, if not my favorite movie. Uh, that movie is still paying dividends today. All the people that were involved in it are long dead, but the movie still is having an impact on our society, our folks that enjoy that. And there's a lot of movies. There's been a lot of great shows and things that have been done that have had a great impact. So,
Sir. Well, with that, this is the last thing I wanted to speak
okay.
on with you today.
Yep.
Um, Alfred Safala, LinkedIn, said adding value is being reliable and efficient, always being willing to go the extra mile, being a good communicator, being a team player, being creative and innovative, being willing to take risk. And I say, be you. What do you, Mr. Kevin Dougherty, say?
I would agree with a lot of what he says. I think that the one thing I would suggest is that people do need to take risks. Um, I'm saying positive risks. You know, do not let the fear of failure uh, hold you back, because every time you fail, you learn and you get better. That opportunity exists because you don't you rarely fail the same way twice, or you're a knucklehead. You learn from that failure and you build on it and you try it a little differently. I mean, the old, you know, Thomas Edison found 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb until he found the way to make the light bulb. So there's a lot of truth to that I am hopeful that and my encouragement to young people is, do not do something, fail forward. you know if you try something and it doesn't work, try something else, keep trying until you get there, and um, always seek others wisdom, guidance, but you have to discern, make sure that those that are advising you are, have the right motives in mind. um, yeah, I mean, I that was interesting.
Yes, sir. Well, with that, that was Mr. Kevin Dougherty. Just a round of applause for myself.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate it, Trenton.
Yes, sir. This has been the Wize Tales, and we'll see y'all guys later.
Sounds good. 1, 2, 3,